Guys, welcome back to the podcast number 2. And today we have my dear friend Angela from Transpersonal Pilates. She has shown me a different way of Pilates, and I'm super excited for her to share what it is and also to tie it in with the spiritual void. Hi, Angela. Lovely to have you here.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, as I did in the first episode, I gave you guys a definition of what spiritual void is, and so today I am gonna read the definition from Wikipedia. It doesn't make it too woo-woo. We are not gonna go too woo-woo yet. We are building it up. Okay, so the void, and it is from a philosophy point of view. The void is the philosophical concept of nothingness manifested. The notion of the void is relevant to several realms of metaphysics. The void is also prevalent in numerous facets of psychology, notably logotherapy, which I do not know what it means, but we move. The manifestation of nothingness is closely associated with the contemplation of emptiness and with human attempts to identify and personify it. As such, the concept of the void and ideas similar to it have a significant and historically evolving presence in artistic and creative expression, as well as in academic, scientific, and philosophical debate surrounding the nature of the human condition. I think that's enough. So yet again, it's a place of nothingness and everythingness, and we get to that place after a huge transformation, but whatever that transformation looks like, right? And we will dive in today into that concept, what spiritual void is to Angela, the role it played in her spiritual journey, and also the role it played in her client's journey as a whole. So all the information that Angela will share about her clients obviously is confidential, and we will just see what comes up. We allow the universe work through us, so we bring the best and most useful information for you guys, the listeners, the watchers, however you call yourselves. So yeah, let's begin. Angela, please take it away.
Let's fly.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that. I like the fun. Like, let's just go with it. So what is for me Pilates, and what is done for me throughout the years is Pilates, can actually help you to access to the void that you're talking about. But there's a lot of steps obviously that you follow in between. Nowadays I can hear a lot about embodiment. I can hear a lot about opening the chakra, the heart space. I can hear a lot about that, and all that makes completely sense. But I think it's important to know and to acknowledge also the steps that you have to follow through, because it's all a part of a journey for the person to be able to access that void that you're talking about. The void of nothingness can be movement as well. So the way we do it in Pilates, in the Pilates that I teach, in my technique, because many people out there, they're teaching different techniques as well. So, and they're all good. There's nothing wrong. It's just that, everyone teaches on a different level. And I choose to teach in a very spiritual way. And the way I kind of connected to that void was trying to understand how to move, and how to embody the movement through the soul system. So the movement that comes from the soul, and that has no thoughts, has no nothing. It's just movement, flowing. And when you can access that, the body can actually take you to places that you don't even know that you have them. The body can actually help you to have a split, split your legs, or can actually help you to, to do like a high, beautiful bridge, can actually help you to run faster than you ever thought you could run. And it's something that I experience every day. I'm really a lucky person, that today you can experience that anywhere you want. That's the beauty. That you can experience that doing, once you know the technique, you can experience that in the gym, you can experience that, swimming, you can experience anywhere. Today I was at the gym, and just by having the technique available for myself and just taking that breath in and just really enlightening, my full body and spine, and knowing how that obviously is a technique, I could run really fast with no effort. And that's the beauty. So when you access the void, you're capable to manifest things that you're not even, conscious that you can manifest those things. And that's the beauty. And that is how do we do that in Pilates? So the first thing that I can think about now is, sorry, someone was calling me. So the best thing that I can, letting go on control, because we are out of that zone of control. We are now into the area of Aquarius, astrologically. So in Pisces, we're not anymore in that kind of zone of control, of rigid forms. So Pilates for me is about how can I let go on all the control and all the traumas and all the experiences that I had throughout my body, throughout my life, throughout this lifetime and previous lifetimes, and how can let go so then I can access and trust my body and trust the universe itself. So it's the relationship in between the microcosmos and the cosmos itself and the macrocosmos. So both are connected. So I'm going to explain it very quickly. So it's going back to Pilates, what Pilates is. This is about, I was telling Neringa before, I was telling you before how I've been researching a lot and reading a lot about biodynamic farming in these days. And that was, beautiful guys. So you can actually see the same system and the same way of growth. You can see it and you can observe it in nature. And it's beautiful. So you can see how when you put the seeds on earth and where do you put the seeds, which space, and how the soil, if the soil contains enough minerals, enough nitrogen, enough, depending on where the stars are in that specific moment and where is the moon in that specific moment, that seed, it's going to grow or not. It's going to develop more roots or not. It's going to grow deeper or it's going to spread wider. It's going to be able to develop the fruit quicker or slower. So there's something very important that I really want to kind of bring up, to the atmosphere, same as the plants, is that when the body is the same. So when if you want to open the heart, let's say, first, like the plant and the seed, you'll have to put the seeds in the ground and grow your roots. And the roots in this moment, when it comes to me, is the feet. So our feet are the way, portals to connect to earth, with earth, which is the soul of the divine, right? So it's the way to access the divine. So in order to access the divine, you need to connect through the feet, to connect through the feet and let the energy flow through your body, through your pelvic system, through your heart, through your solar plexus, neck, throat chakra, and crown. It needs to flow from the feet, from earth. And it always goes in meditation and everywhere in meditation, it always goes from down to up. It never goes up to down. It goes from down to up. And that is so important, a very important thing to remember, because we are not so connected anymore with nature. We're not leading with nature. We don't grow our own food. So we're not really connected anymore due to our lifestyles. We're not connected anymore to that kind of process of waiting for the seed, of growing the roots. So what Pilates do? So Pilates is, for me, Pilates helps me to grow the roots of my feet, to connect my body down to earth. So then I can build up muscles around my pelvic area. And when the pelvic area is strong, connects the core system. And then when the core system is strong, connects the heart, opens the heart. And when the heart is strong and you can still breathe, connects the throat. And then when that's strong, it connects and elevates the spirit from down, from earth to the top, from to the last chakra, which is outside of the body. And, to do that, you can do it through movement. I do it through movement. You can do it through any kind of healings. And I believe in all healings because they served me a lot as well throughout the years. And what that does for me and for clients, it helps me to combine the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. Mm-hmm. So in a lifestyle where everything has to be masculine in these days, especially for us women, everything has to be masculine. Everything has to be, seems like we have to wear a hat and run and just be strong and be this and be rigid. And that seems to be like the goddess is not there anymore. Like, at least in Western culture, isn't it? Because then you go to Asia, there's a goddess temple everywhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be so present in our Western culture. So to honor the goddess inside the body, the goddess has to be balanced as well. It has to be balanced with the sacred masculine, sacred feminine. So that's what Pilates does for me. So it just helps me to understand the body, to realign, to connect to earth. And when you access to the movement, obviously, before you access to the movement, you have to go through the traumas. Because Pilates is a system, the Pilates that I use, the Transpersonal Pilates is a system that is a method that helps, to de-stress the trauma out of certain parts of the body too. And we do that through another techniques. There are places, such, chakras and places in the body that could be sometimes, I like to call it congested. They're congested and or sleepy, and then you need to wake them up. That's what it does for you. So it wakes up the areas of the body that somehow the energy you feel is leaking, is not flowing fully. Mm-hmm. So then what we do is we target those places and then we open them. We don't open them, we guide you to open them. So you have to do the work, like I just guide, I just say, okay, is that available for you? And people do it. And, that depends, it has to come 50-50, depends on you. So you are the one who can manifest, that change. And when you manifest the change and you are able to connect all that energy from the ground, from the center of earth to your forehead, is when the body takes you everywhere you want. You can manifest anything you want in life. You can manifest, let's say, many people, they say, I want to manifest my soulmate. They manifest the soulmate in no time. Why? Because the energy is flowing. Mm-hmm. But that void that we're talking about, the definition of that void, the most similar thing that I can think is like that, the triangle, the combination of, body, spirit, body, spirit, and soul, all that combination. That's the triangle. That goes up. The energy goes up. And when you are capable to let go on the control, let go on the thoughts, let go on everything. You become, you're not anymore a seeker. You become a divine. You become the divine. And when you become the divine, there is void because there is nothing there. The body is just taking you through. You don't have to do anything. You don't struggle. You can run with this kind of Pilates, this kind of technique. And that, I must say, is I'm not the only one who uses that. All the people out there that you see, you know, the best tennis players, you know, I'm going to give you a name, Serena, one of the best tennis players of all, you know, of all times, woman. And if you go and ask her, they will tell you, what do you do to win? What do you do? And they tell you, I like to enjoy and I like to be in my body. I'm not in my head. I'm in my body. So that's and that's how they access the void, because the void can only be accessed from the stillness. So that is my definition of, you know, what I do, what we do, and I hope helps.
That is so interesting that you have given this your definition of the void, because yes, exactly, it's also the place of manifestation.
Yeah.
So in the first episode, we spoke how the void can make people feel like actually they don't have any control, right? But at the same time, there is many thoughts and they don't know what to do with it, and you know, they get quite overwhelmed because they have done all this work, and now they're being met with the even almost like a collective consciousness, right?
Yeah.
All the thoughts and all the even traumas and stuff, like they just, it's moving, so it's not really attachment.
Yeah.
But it's moving through you, right? And some people find it really difficult to be still in that void because it's so much happening, right? But what I like that is that the other side of the void is that actually some people are the seekers of the void, and they want to get to that place where they're so still, that they are so in their body, that they manifest easily and effortlessly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's for some people that is the spiritual place that they want to be, you know, and that's their biggest achievement, right? So I really love that you mentioned that. And I also wanted to ask you, because obviously Angela was helping me too with my body transformation, my traumas and so on. And you know that place when the body gets, when it shakes?
Yeah.
What would you call that place? Like, would you say that is somewhat of a void, because the body is doing the work, right? But it's not really the mind. So it's interesting, right? Because the mind doesn't really know until you ask, why, what could this be? But you don't necessarily encourage people to go into that, right? You just like allow the body to do what it needs to do.
Yeah. So that is the beginning of entering into the void, right? So that is, I'm always really happy when I see a shake, you know, when I see a client shaking. Yeah. And then eventually you will just go on, you just shake. You just shake. And it's great. I mean, shaking is it's a powerful technique, and it comes from bioenergetics. Shaking. It comes from John Pierrakos, was the one who, the founder of Core Energetics and Core Energetics Association.
Can you repeat the name again, please?
John Pierrakos. I know the name is a bit, John Pierracos, yeah, this gentleman already died, but he was a really great therapist, and he's also the founder of Core Energetics. You can also find information of Core Energetics on YouTube, and then there are associations all around across the world. And so, not because I'm not a practitioner of Core Energetics, but I did practice a lot throughout my life, and a lot is connected to Pilates. So what happened is that when you enter into that place of shaking, you're already entering into that space of trauma.
Okay.
Right? So the shaking is the trauma. There is also a book that talks about this. A book, it's called Why the Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Why the zebras don't get cancer. And it's because it explains how, the animal kingdom, the animals, and even the children, the first thing we do to distress trauma from the body, we shake. But with the time, because they teach us how to not do it. You can't do this, you can't do that, you need to do that, you need to kiss your parents, and you need to, those kind of things that, they educate us. So we stop shaking. When you access to that shaking in the therapy session, it's a brilliant moment. It's the moment that you're accessing your trauma. And in that moment, there is no thoughts, as you say, there's no thoughts. It's all about the body is just distressing naturally. And your mind has already given up on the control. The mind is in charge to help. The mind just wants to help, put a wall in there and help you to not suffer. So the mind is very smart, it's very clever. It's trying to help the body to not access the place. But with, lots of compassion and lots of patience and trust, sometimes, and most of the times, I can help the clients, guide the clients, to get to that shaking spaces.
Yeah.
And when they access there, that's the beginning of the void that you're talking about. Going first through the trauma to release the trauma. And once you get out of the trauma, because you accepted it, you cried it, you felt it, the trauma is out. So that is, the shaking is not just the pain leaving your body in that specific moment. The pain will go away from your body, and then these stresses, and then the energy, the body's just shaking to let the energy flow out. Doesn't want that energy in. So when the energy is out, you can access the higher part of the void, which is the stillness, the nothingness. There are two layers. You have the emotional layer, which is blue, and you have the white layer and golden layer, which is, the divine layer, the layer of nothing. Yeah. So does it make sense? So they're both the same. So they're the same thing that you're talking about, but one is emotional and the other one is the divine. Yeah. There's no better than other. There's no better than other. It's just because in the divine, nothing is better than other. There's nothing such a, there's just a journey. It's just a journey that you have to go through the pain to develop your flower, develop your fruit, right? Yeah. So it's same as the plants. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Okay. So in regards to your clients, let's say, if they come to you with a specific ailments, right? Let's consider, for some reason I saw hips. I know that you love that word.
I love hips.
I love hips. I love working on the hips. What I learned recently, that if our hips are not mobile and really nothing can move, the spiritual journey begins literally when you start working on your root chakra and opening the hips, right?
Absolutely.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about that. How
Yeah.
you work with that, and how you move the person, move, maybe that's not a correct word to say, but guide the person into the openness, so into the spiritual journey, let's say, you know, through the
Yeah.
body, through the transpersonal Pilates.
Yeah. How? Well, I guess, you know, as a therapist, you need to do the work. I had to do the work within myself first
Yep.
to kind of be able to guide people and be very compassionate and very, very, very compassionate, have an open heart, you know, because it's a very tricky area for women.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to be touched in there, like someone lies down in your session and they're lying down, and then it's a vulnerable space for us.
So it's like with
right?
me, how you said, oh, I can tell that you don't like when I'm we had our sessions on Zoom, right? And
Yeah.
Angela would say, oh, you don't like when I'm on your
Yeah.
left side, right? And then I would
Yeah.
move you on my right side, and but you picked
Yeah.
it up really quickly, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I think throughout the years, maybe the training that I had, or maybe the teachers that I have, the way I was taught, by my masters, and I developed this intuition that I can see with my third eye what's happening in there. I don't see with my eyes, I see with my third eye what's happening. I can feel your pain, I can hear it. And sometimes it's a bit dangerous because it's like it's a bit like I don't want to take that. But with the years, I've learned also how to say it and not take it in my body as well. So so it has to do with the sacred feminine and sacred masculine in the body, which is something that it's an ancient way to see it. And in Asia is where this idea, and in Egypt, this idea was born, and even in Greece, that about the right side of your body is the masculine side of your body, and the left side of your body is the feminine, is the sacred feminine. So the right side of your body, the right shoulder, the right hip, it has to do with the relationship between you and your father. Your father can be work, anything that is an action of giving, of working, of action, right? And it's also your masculine, it can be your anger, your frustration, all these things. Whether the left side, it has to do with the relationship of the mother, with your femininity itself, with your connection to your heart, because it's the closest arm that you have to the heart. The left leg, it has to do with the things that you do with your heart, whether you are taking things in your life with your heart or not, whether you're taking a step in your life, the things that you really want or not. It has to do with the relationship with any women in the family. It's not just the mother, obviously, it's just any women of the family. So depending on what relationship you had in your life, I will be able to stand better on your right side or on your left side. And as a therapist nowadays, as a transpersonal psychologist now, I can tell straight away from the 5 minutes I meet the person, because I know which foot it stands more, and I know where they stand, and I know where they feel uncomfortable. And if I don't find out, I ask them. I ask them, like I did with you, like when I stand on your right side, you seem to be more comfortable. When I stand on your left side, you seem to be more uncomfortable. There's something to do about that. There's something that you don't feel about the relationship with a mother, or it could be the relationship with any women of the family. Sometimes it has to do with a betrayal. Sometimes can do, then here we're talking about the emotional aspects. When we go through the emotional aspects, we can access the divine. or we can do it from the divine into emotional aspects, but it's harder. It's harder because then you're in your head already. Does it make sense what I said?
I think so. Yeah.
I went away from the. Yeah, you wanted to talk about the hips, right? About that. What happened when you open the hips? Is that what you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we went from the hips to the ether.
you're going up, I'm going up, and I should go down too. Yeah. So well done. Well done, Angela. So as you see, we're not perfect,
Angela is a Sagittarius, just like me, so we see big pictures.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's all about the big things. Yeah.
Right.
It's all about the big things. And what about the small things? The small things. Yeah. So the hips have to do with where we generate energy. So the hips, they contain all of the chi in the body. If you generate energy, but the energy is locked because there was a trauma in the life of the individual, and something happened to them that their bodies decided, look, let's shut the door because this is too much for the kid, So then they shut the door. Those hips are not mobile. There's nothing entering, nothing coming out anymore. So in a way, it's good for the child because the child grows up without having that pain, right? That they cannot handle at such a small age. But as soon as you grow, you start having the problems because suddenly it's hard to enjoy sex. It's hard to do this. Anything that has to do with hips, it's hard to feel the earth. It's hard to stop thinking, for example. This is usually, people with closed hips. They're not capable to be really in their bodies. They're all the time in their heads, right? So then levels of stress, and then it escalates. So what happened when you open your hips? That you are able to receive, finally. That you are able to step forward. So what you want to do, that you are able to generate the flow and move the flow that lives inside, that fire that you create in the perineum area. That flow can go up and touch the divine. Without that, it's almost like having a plant. Imagine having the plant with a flower on top, but you don't have a root. There's nothing. You need to open. The energy generates from the seed. So let's say you have the seed in your pelvis. And if the seed is open, if you are aware about your traumas, you're already open. Does it make sense? So the problem most of the times is that people don't want to be aware, right? Because they're not ready. Their bodies are not ready. And so for me,
one second.
Yeah.
So I just want to present something. When you remind your clients that when they go off somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Remember that part. And I'm just wondering whether that could be seen as the yin side of the void, right?
Yeah.
Talk a lot about that neutral space of almost blissful space, because we manifest.
Absolutely.
Right? Because what we spoke about with Amba is that void itself can be both yin and yang, right? So I was just thinking, about that state of nothingness when a person checks out, right? As you say, is that place of the yin, of the void.
No.
I
would say no, that's not the place. No. When the person checks out, leaves the body.
Okay, they leave.
And leaves the spirit as well. So it's actually the other way around, Neringa. So the body is not outside of the spirit, and the spirit is not outside of the body. The spirit is in the body, right?
Yeah.
So when the person leaves the body, leaves the spirit too. So you're nowhere. You're in your head. Yeah. So you're in your head. Now, when you are in your trauma and you have the guts to, you know, it's something about bravery. So you need to be brave to be in your, you know, in your biggest trauma. It's not an easy thing to do. Is you need to be brave to fight your fears. So imagine you're in that space where you're opening the hips, and then some clients, they might start crying and they don't know what they're crying. But then I ask them, is it okay for you to stay there in that space of discomfort? Some of them, they say no, and I respect it. Some of them, they say yes. Okay, let me stay. Let me stay. I trust my body. Yeah, so it comes with trust. So the client has to already trust me and trust his body, right? It's a journey. So when they're able to trust their bodies and they're capable to be in the pain, and they feel the pain, and they feel it in the whole body, now they are in the void. That's the black side of the dark side of the void, of the yin and yang. Does it make sense?
Makes sense.
But it's already connected to the divine. You're already honoring that part of you that will create the flower, like the lotus flower. The lotus flower grows where? It grows in the most gross, you know, dump, you know, it grows. It's really gross where it grows, but when it grows, it develops the roots, and it, you know, this beautiful flower comes out of, you know, all the dirt, and that's how we are. So you need to be able to dive into that space to honor that space. Well, not everyone is ready for that, you know, not everybody, and I say not everybody in the actual literal sense of the words, like body. So bodies, exactly. So not your mind might be ready, not you, I'm just saying in general, but the mind might be ready.
We can take me as an example. I'm more than open to. And it's like when I came to you, my body was really not wanting this work.
Right? Yeah.
It was so scared. It was so reluctant. I have manifested things like internet not working.
Yeah. You're so powerful.
Because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to.
I know. You're so powerful. Yeah, you're so resistant.
After a break, I think, when I was really suffering with, I can't remember what it was. Was it sciatica or something else? And when I came to you again for a few sessions, you saw the difference, didn't you?
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, the body takes time. So it's just beautiful. Like sometimes I see like people resisting a lot. I mean, I'm going to give you an example of a client. I used to have a client 5 years ago. Yeah. So she was at that time going through a very stressful period of her life, you know. She's a very powerful woman because I always teach powerful women. Somehow I was connected to these amazing women that they're really powerful, really strong, and they know what they want. So this is one of them. And, you know, something happened. And at that time, you know, it was too much for her body. So she decided to change the teacher. She went to another teacher. And then after a while, she left the teacher and then she left. She texted me a year ago, asking me a question. I said, okay, yeah, how are you? Oh, yeah, good. This year, she texted me in April, I think, and asked me if she's going to open a Pilates studio, so she would like me to work for her. And I said, look, I don't need to work. I have a lot of work already. I don't work for studios anymore, but I will happily come and do 1 or 2 sessions for you because I enjoy, you know, I want to see you as well, you know. So, you know, I've met her and she still remembers everything I taught her in the sessions. Wow. So it's something really amazing, Neringa, like the body, your mind will forget what I say, but the body will never forget how it felt. Yeah. You know, so that is So already a connection that you build with the client. So not with the mind, you build it with the client, with the spirits of the person, that they will remember you after 5 years and I'll say, I want that teacher, because or your body in that case was maybe trying to call me again. I want to now to do a little bit more work. But at that time, at the beginning, your mind was so ready to do it. Yes, Neringa, you were like, yeah, I'm so ready to do it. But when I saw the body was not happy to be in yet, because there's so much trauma to go through and the body needs time. And it's very dangerous for the body, let's say, to go deep into a trauma when it's not ready. It's not good. So you need to follow the patterns of, the universe, the cosmos, which the body works in the same way. So the body needs that time. And for example, now you're a little bit more ready, and then maybe you have to stop later. Maybe you can take 2-3 sessions and then stop again for a year. The body will tell you, now I need Pilates. Not Pilates, I need transpersonal Pilates. Now I don't need it anymore. I need to rest, because the body needs time to process the information as well. Yeah. And to be in the right environment. To heal it.
And what I'm feeling is that I think it depends on people, but for me personally, I had to process my traumas mentally first. Then emotionally, and I'm coming into processing the trauma now with my body. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's just like doing things like, so obviously I started with you, and then yoga, and then at the moment it's dance, and I'm really seeing how I can heal through raving. Actually, even I can just go and dance techno songs, and
you can heal it.
So it's very interesting what you said. It's like whatever body's ready, it's gonna ask, and I continuously think, oh, maybe I should go back to transpersonal Pilates. You're always on my mind, because like you said, for me, I don't know any other teacher that does transpersonal Pilates, and it will always be you, because we have built such a relationship outside of transpersonal Pilates and within. So it's very interesting, this concept that body tells you what it means.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, Neringa, the way to open the trauma is opening the body as well. So sometimes you open the hips, and then suddenly you go home and you remember something that happened to you. The body is connected, because the body stores all the trauma. The body shuts the areas that have trauma. That's it. They shut the area. When the area opens, trauma opens. Now, your body is like, it's clever than I and clever than you. And your body is like, wait, this woman is going to open the trauma I have on my hips. That's not the moment, because I am not in the right place, not in the right country, not in the right space. I need water, sea, friends, love, right? To be able to heal the trauma. Otherwise, I'm going to go downhill, right? So the body's like, can you connect into the mind? Hello, mind. Can you go to Mexico? Yes, okay, find the ways. Find the ways. And then you're in Mexico after, like, how long you've been there? 2 months or 3? After a long time, when the body's ready, the body's like, okay, now I'm ready to hear some more information, but just that tiny bit. The body's so smart. So I don't mess around with that. I respect it. I've learned how to respect it. I have to respect you as a body and everyone as a body. And then if they want to rush, I tell them, we cannot rush. We can never speed up the process. You cannot plant a mango and the tree is going to come tomorrow. No, it's not going to happen like this. We don't see nature. What would you see in you? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But when you're able to dive into that, Neringa, you're already into the divine. You're already into that void.
Yeah.
You're already the divine. You are. Yeah. And then you can manifest also. And you can create. You can create and manifest, but it's the same shit. Sorry. It's the same thing. Sorry to swear, but it's the same. Yeah. So,
yeah. I really love that we brought a different side to the void, and I think as I mentioned in the first episode, I really don't know where this is going. I know, like, I only got given spiritual void, and I'm like,
beautiful.
and we're gonna
Beautiful.
grow that, and I think this is what it's gonna be. Every person sees spiritual void differently, right?
Yeah, amazing.
And it's so beautiful to witness and to be let in, to understand what the spiritual void is for everyone else. So I'm so grateful you shared your
I'm so grateful to have you and for you to have me here. I'm so grateful, seriously. And yeah, I'm so grateful to also see you so happy and so well in this beautiful country, doing this beautiful work. And I really you want to hear more about more of your interviews and how other people, other therapists, other people in the environment, the same in the same community, they can see the void.
Yeah.
Where it's like almost like talking to religions, like all the same stuff, but looked in it from a different perspective and angle. So thank you. So thank you.
I cannot wait to hear the spiritual void from everyone else's perspective. And so yeah, watch this.
All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Here is night. It's 10 in the UK.
For us, it's 4:20. So
4:20. Good for you. Good for you. So
thank you.
have a nice. Thank you.
Take care.
Ta-ta. Lots of love.